Welcome to the Saturday Night Cigar Lounge.
And it is a pretty warm Saturday afternoon here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. It's a good time for Saturday Night Cigar Lounge. I am your host, Taylor Millard, here on Vigilant Liberty Radio. In case you're wondering, yes, I did say Saturday afternoon. Why did I say Saturday afternoon? We are doing a recorded show tonight, and the reason why we are doing a recorded show is because around the time that this goes up on Vigilant Liberty Radio, I will hopefully be yelling my face off and being very pleased with how the Dallas Stars are doing tonight against the Washington Capitals. The best Russian-born player in the game today is in town in Alexander Ovechkin, and I want to see him play. And I know that's going to draw a lot of criticism from the queen of Vigilant Liberty Radio, Liz Harrison, for saying that Ovechkin is better than Malkin. But he is better than Malkin. At the same time, he's better than Malkin. It's like saying that Tom Brady is better than Peyton Manning. You can't go wrong with either player. You really can't. Or to use something that's a little bit easier, because I'm sure there are Patriots fans out there who would go, why did you say Tom Brady is just a little bit better than Peyton Manning? Brady's got more Super Bowls. Fine, how about this? Steve Young and Troy Aikman. How about that comparison? Troy Aikman was probably the better quarterback. Again, that's my Cowboys bias showing. But Steve Young's a good quarterback to have, too. So that's what I mean when I say that Ovechkin is better than Malkin. In reality, that's like comparing prime rib and T-bone steak. I mean, they're both great. It's like comparing prime rib steaks. They're both great. Or to put it in a cigar analogy, it's like comparing a Fuente Hemingway short story to a Fuente Between the Lines short story. Okay? That's what I mean by that. But I will be in the American Airlines Center watching the Dallas Stars. I hope they win. Please win, boys. Please win. And we'll go from there. But tonight, one of the things I do want to talk about is the fact that, well, what is free speech? And the hypocrisy regarding free speech. The hypocrisy that's out there regarding free speech on the left and in America in general sometimes. But also the big question which has to be raised is, what is free speech? What exactly is free speech? Let's start with the obvious discussion, which is the fact that, well, the Charlie Hebdo latest cover of Muhammad, it's being censored here in the U.S. It is being censored here in the U.S. And the reason why it's being censored in the U.S. is apparently the mainstream media outlets that are out there, ABC, NBC, CNN, CBS, and Fox is considered mainstream now. I really don't care what people say. Fox is mainstream. Although I don't think Fox is censoring it. But the other four are. The other four are censoring the cover. This was something that Stephen Miller, a.k.a. Red Steeds, brought up on Right War on FTR Radio, that you can hear Wednesday nights and Thursday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern with Liz Harrison and myself. Not only at FTR Radio, but also right here. But it's being censored. The cover is being censored. Yet the art, quote unquote, involving a cross in a jar of urine was not censored until AP finally pulled it down because somebody pointed out that they were being hypocritical about it. Now, I've raised my problems with Piss Christ from a funding level, because I don't think the government should be the one funding that artwork. I also don't think it's art, but my tastes are different than others. And when I say they, I mean media, didn't have a problem with putting that picture up. But they had a problem with putting up the picture of Muhammad. Now, a part of it, I think, has to do with the fact that you really don't see, even though the folks at altern.net or alternet.com would like for you to think that Christians are these rabid people who want to go around and kill people who don't agree with them. And I'm not saying that there aren't Christians out there or so-called Christians who do that. In reality, only God knows what the conditions of their soul are. But a majority of Christians, let's say 97% of Christians, aren't going to kill someone or destroy something if they get offended. They'll complain about it on Twitter. They'll complain about it on Facebook, in emails. But the, 10%? 15% of Muslims out there will get offended and they'll go and they'll hurt someone. Now, if you wanted to be a bastion of free speech, and you wanted to show the covers, and look, it's their decision, the individual news organization's decision to show the covers or to not show the covers. That's their choice. But if you're not worried about pissing off the 3 to 5% of Christianity out there that will get mad and go do something, why are you so afraid to piss off the 10 to 15% of Islam? Be brave. Be bold. Why don't you go out and you go ahead and show your free speech rights and show the covers? Show the covers. Why not? Now, a part of this may have to do with news organizations using restraint. And when I say using restraint, we go to comments that were made by Pope Francis. The full comments that were made by Pope Francis on a plane earlier this week, where he said, as for freedom of expression, each one not only has the freedom, the right, but also the obligation to say what one thinks to help the common good. The obligation. let's think. If a member of parliament or a senator doesn't say what he thinks is the right path, then he does not collaborate for the common good. Not only these, but many others too. We have the obligation to say openly, to have this liberty without giving offense, because it is true, one cannot react violently. But if Dr. Gaspari, that's the papal trip organizer who was standing beside the Pope, a great friend, says a bad word against my mother, then a punch awaits him. But it's normal. It's normal. One cannot provoke. One cannot insult other people's faith. One cannot make fun of faith. Pope Benedict, in a speech, I don't remember exactly where, he spoke of this post-positivist mentality, of post-positivist metaphysics that led to the belief that in the end, religious expressions, are a kind of subculture, which are tolerated but are of little value, are not on the Enlightenment culture. And this is part of the heritage of the Enlightenment. And so many people who speak badly about other religions or religions in general, they make fun of, let's say, toy with other people's religions. These people provoke, and there can occur what would happen to Dr. Gaspari if he said something against my mother. That is, there is a limit. Every religion has dignity. Every religion that respects human life, the human person, and I cannot make fun of it. This is a limit, and I have taken this sense of limit to say that in the freedom of expression there are limits, like in regard to my mom. So what is the Pope saying here? Well, I really think what the Pope is saying here, he's not saying there are, or there should be, legislative restrictions to free speech. I think what he's saying here is people need to use discretion. Individual people and individual organizations, non-government entities, need to use discretion when insulting people or commenting about other religions. So if that's what the individual news organizations are doing in not showing the Muhammad cartoon, if it's just because they're showing discretion, then why are they not showing the same discretion regarding Piss Christ? Why are they deciding that it's okay to offend Christians, but it's not okay to offend Muslims? And it's possible that fear plays into this. Because while, there may be 5%, up to 5% of Christians in the world who would really get mad and really decide to go do something, the idea that that percentage of Christianity out there, that's a really small percentage. 10 to 15% of Islam, that's a lot. And so maybe that's why the news organizations are censoring the cartoon. But if you're willing to show piss